Allow me to pose a question. How can we believe in the concept of a rules-based international order when the very nation that championed its creation now seems to circumvent those rules at will? The answer lies in unraveling the tangled web of hypocrisy, political maneuvering, and a shift from international cooperation to self-serving tactics. The criticism of U.S. policies, especially when it comes to its relationship with China, is not something new, but let's explore it from a perspective that dives deeper into the rhetoric, exposing the contradictions and challenging the narrative often fed by Western media. Hello, and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. Now, let's begin. The United States portrays itself as the champion of democracy, an upholder of international law, and the defender of free markets. Yet, a close examination of its policies reveals a starkly different picture. The aggressive use of tariffs, imposing unilateral sanctions, intervening in other nations' internal affairs, and even subverting international institutions like the WTO, all of these actions paint a picture of a country bending rules to its advantage. Washington's antagonistic stance against China, a nation that lifted 800 million of its citizens out of poverty, is rooted in a desire to contain and control, rather than to cooperate and build together. The constant portrayal of China as a threat, an evil boogeyman, has reached a point where rhetoric overshadows reason. And this is where the West's hypocrisy becomes palpable. The U.S. talks about a rules-based order but seems to abandon it when it doesn't suit its interests. Take the WTO, for example. As China's recent report pointed out, the United States has consistently undermined the very principles of the organization it helped create. The refusal to join the consensus, the selective implementation of rulings, and the invocation of national security to justify unilateral decisions. All of these actions undermine the very foundations of a fair and transparent global trade system. But why does the U.S. engage in such actions? Is it merely to contain China's rise? Or is there a broader goal at play here? Ladies and gentlemen, we must recognize that the term rules-based order has become a tool of convenience for Washington. It's an order where the rules can be bent, twisted, or ignored if they do not align with U.S. interests. It's an order that attempts to replace true international law with a framework that allows for unilateral decisions without accountability. It's an order that is quickly losing its credibility in the eyes of the world. As we delve deeper into this subject, we see that the U.S. actions are not only affecting its relationship with China, but also its allies. Even Western nations like Norway, Switzerland, and Turkey have complained about U.S. policies. The disregard for international consensus is not a sign of strength, but a glaring indication of arrogance and a refusal to engage in genuine dialogue. We must also reflect on the disturbing trend of weaponizing trade, technology, and financial systems to exert pressure on other nations. The aggressive tactics against Huawei, the coercion of other countries to follow the U.S. political stance, and the imposition of sanctions are a testament to a policy of bullying rather than diplomacy. In the end, what we are witnessing is a dangerous game that threatens not only international relations, but the very fabric of global governance. It's a game that undermines trust, promotes antagonism, and fosters a new Cold War mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to ask ourselves whether we are willing to play by the rules of this skewed game or whether we will strive for genuine cooperation, understanding, and respect for international law. It's time to recognize that a unilateral approach will only lead to division, discord, and a world fragmented by self-serving interests. In conclusion, the U.S. actions in the international arena, especially concerning China, are not only contrary to the principles of fairness, cooperation, and respect for international law, but also indicative of a deeper crisis in the understanding of how global relations should be managed. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to the realities unfolding before us. The principles that govern our world are too valuable to be abandoned to the whims of political convenience. The path to peace, progress, and prosperity lies in collaboration, dialogue, and a shared commitment to uphold the true rules of international engagement. If you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. Consider the vast array of military interventions, sanctions, and economic manipulations that the United States has engaged in over the past few decades. These actions often blatantly violate the principles of international law, the very same principles that Washington claims to uphold. Remember the Iraq War in 2003. It was a military invasion based on false intelligence and fabrications. Not only did it destabilize an entire region, but it also led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, including civilians. Where was the adherence to the rules-based international order then? Look at the unilateral sanctions imposed by the United States on countries like Cuba, Iran, Venezuela, and others. These economic measures designed to cripple economies and create hardships for ordinary people often sidestep international agreements and the very rules that the U.S. helped to establish. Think about the constant interference in the internal affairs of sovereign nations. From supporting coups in Latin American countries to meddling in elections, the U.S. has a long history of interventionist policies that flout international norms. One of the most alarming examples of U.S. disregard for the so-called rules-based international order is its treatment of the World Trade Organization to a body it helped create, the buddy it helped create. The buddy too has become a casualty of U.S. whims and unilateralism. Blocking the appointment of judges to the appellate body, imposing tariffs that violate agreements, and constantly shifting the goalposts to suit its interests. The U.S. has acted more like a rogue player than a committed member of an international community based on rules. And what about the ongoing support for authoritarian regimes that align with U.S. interests? Where is the principled stand on democracy and human rights when it comes to allies known for repressive policies and egregious human rights violations? This selective application of principles is a telling example of the hypocrisy inherent in the so-called rules-based order. You see, the mantra of the rules-based international order becomes an empty slogan when it's wielded by those who choose to follow the rules only when it serves their interests. It becomes a tool of coercion rather than a framework for cooperation. In contrast, China's rise on the world stage has been marked by a commitment to multilateralism, cooperation, and a respect for international norms. Yes, China has its own interests and is unapologetic about protecting them. But it is also working to create a multipolar world where power is more evenly distributed and where nations can pursue their paths without the fear of interference or domination. China's Belt and Road Initiative, a grand vision of connectivity and collaboration, is a testament to this approach. Rather than seeking to impose its will or ideologies on others, China is extending a hand of partnership. It's about mutual benefit, shared growth, and a recognition that in our interconnected world, the prosperity of one is tied to the prosperity of all. The world is at a crossroads. We are witnessing a shift in the global balance of power, and with it, an opportunity to redefine how nations interact. The US's insistence on clinging to a unipolar worldview, marked by domination and coercion, is not only outdated, but also dangerous. It fosters conflict, division, and mistrust. In a time when humanity faces shared challenges like climate change, poverty, pandemics, and more, we cannot afford to be divided. We need a truly rules-based international order, one that is fair, just, and inclusive. An order that respects the sovereignty of all nations, upholds the principles of international law, and promotes peace, cooperation, and understanding. It's time to move beyond the empty rhetoric, the selective application of principles, and the relentless pursuit of self-interest at the expense of others. Let's work towards a world where the rules are clear, fair, and adhered to by all. A world where we can stand together as a global community to face our common challenges and build a future that benefits everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the choice is ours. We can either continue down the path of division and dominance or embrace a new way of engaging with one another, grounded in respect, cooperation, and a genuine commitment to a rules-based international order. The path we choose will shape the world for generations to come. Let's choose wisely. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video is showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.